Our next guest, I don't know what to say about this man. Truly one of the greats in all of music, a legendary songwriter, musician, multiple Grammy Awards, more than 200 albums to his credit. He is also a best-selling author of this new book. I have a copy of it right here. It's entitled, Roll Me Up and Smoke Me When I Die. Go figure. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the program, Willie Nelson. Willie? I'm all right. You're in a handful of people whose success has spanned the test of time, succeeded, and has become transcendent. You are more than a singer-songwriter. You're an American icon and beloved around the world. We don't get many of those folks here. Now let's talk about some songs that you wrote. And you tell me about what was going on in your life and the songs. Here now are 3 songs you wrote in the same week. 1961, a little something called Crazy. Fantastic.
Thank you.
What were you doing? Where were you? What were you doing when you wrote that song?
I was driving from Houston to Nashville. And on that trip, I wrote 3 songs. I wrote Crazy, Nightlife, and Funny How Time Slips Away.
Oh my God! In one trip.
One trip, yeah.
Oh,
paid for the Buick right there.
Yeah, hey, I guess. But again, these are songs that will outlive us all. They are just a classic, legendary, beautiful songs. What did you have in mind, Crazy?
Well, the original title was Stupid.
Well, what's wrong with that? Boy, you'd have done some business with that. I know nothing about the songwriting process. Is this, was it all personal? Was it reactionary? Was it just words that fit a melody?
Well, all of those things. You know, all of those songs were written in a period when, you know, I was going through this and that and the other, so I tried to put it in songs, and that was a good week.
Yeah. And is that when did you take that song to Patsy Cline? Is that how that worked?
I was in Nashville at a place called Tootsie's Orchid Lounge.
Certainly everybody knows.
Yeah, everybody knows Tootsie's, and I had brought a 45 of my record of Nightlife and Crazy that I'd made down in Houston, and I got Tootsie to put it on her jukebox. And Charlie Dick, who was married to Patsy Cline, heard the song, and he said, this would be a good song for Patsy. He said, let's go play it for her. And it was midnight already, and we'd had a couple of beers, and I said, maybe we ought to wait until tomorrow.
Yeah.
He said, no, let's go wake her up. So we drove to Patsy's house. I wouldn't go in. He went in and woke her up, and she come out and made me come in, and I sung the song to her, and she recorded it the next week.
Yeah. And again, that's the song that she's associated with, isn't she? Yeah.
It's the #1 all-time jukebox song.
Is that right? Whoa, Willie, my man. And here it is, the absolute personification of life. Funny how time slips away. I mean, that's the only thing true in the world, really, isn't it? It just goes.
Yeah.
Yeah. How long have you been performing? You started when you were how old?
Around 5 or 6.
5 or 6.
Yeah.
Singing and playing the guitar, or just singing?
First thing I did, performance that I did was I recited a poem that my grandmother had taught me. And I was about 5 years old, and in a little red and white sailor suit, short breeches, you know. And And I had started thinking about what I was going to say, and I started picking my nose, and my nose started bleeding, bled all over my little sailor suit.
Oh.
So then I went up and held my nose and did the poem, which was, what are you looking at me for? I ain't got nothing to say. If you don't like the looks of me, you can look some other way.
Why in that time in this country, why were kids often dressed as sailors? I mean,
you mean when they're real little?
Yeah, did we have 5-, 6-year-old kids in the Navy?
Not that I know of.
Now tell me about your guitar. I've seen you with your guitar many times, and I covet that guitar. Tell me, the name of the guitar is Trigger.
Trigger. I named it after Roy Rogers' horse.
Yeah. When did you acquire your buddy Trigger?
About 50 years ago.
50 years ago. What kind of guitar is it?
It's a Martin N22 classical guitar, and I had a Baldwin amp and guitar that I was playing, and one night in San Antonio, a drunk stepped in the middle of my guitar and busted it. So I called my friend in Nashville, Shot Jackson. I said, "You got a guitar for me?" He said, "Yeah." So I bought it sight unseen for $750.
It's a lot of money in those days. Still a lot of money. But
It
not,
is.
Yeah. Martin, that's it. That's where you want to be, right?
Martin is a great guitar, and for me, for the sound that I'm looking for, and I'm a huge Django Reinhardt fan. The sound that comes out of that guitar is similar.
How would lay people know Django Reinhardt? What can you tell us about him to place him in musicology?
Well, he was, in my opinion, the greatest guitar player ever, and he was handicapped. He was in a fire when he was like 17 years old, in a covered wagon fire. And he also played violin and guitar at that time, but his hands burned and these two fingers were kind of melted down into his hand. So he played with just these two fingers and the thumb. And he played incredible guitar, and no one has ever, even come close.
You know all about Django, Paul?
I'm not all about him, but I'm sure I'm aware of him, of course. And he was a gypsy heritage, isn't that correct?
That's right.
Yeah. Now, do you have any weed on you?
You got any papers?
Oh, buddy. Oh, buddy. Now, I've heard your sister perform live. Where was she, in Austin, Paul? With us in Austin?
And
we've heard your son perform here a couple of times.
Lucas was here.
Yeah, just fantastic. Willie, I don't know how to say it, but God bless you. I love you, we love you, and here's the book. This is stuff happened to you on the road, and I guess you could fill 9 or 10 of these books. It's called Roll Me Up and Smoke Me When I Die. Musings from the Road. Willie Nelson. We'll be right back with Gary Clark Jr.
Thank you.
God bless you, my friend.